Today, let's learn English with a story about a national park here in the United States. The best way to learn vocabulary is with a story like the one I'm going to share with you now. Welcome to English Coach 3Ts. I'm Tanya, and I hope by the time we get to the end of this story, you're also going to understand why I think that Carlsbad Caverns is one of the most fascinating and stunning places you can go in the United States. It's actually been a long time since I've been there. I went with my children when they were probably 7 and 10 years old, or maybe even a little younger. And it was fascinating, meaning that it was very, very interesting, completely different than any of the places we've ever been, very different than the other national parks, which are also quite wonderful. And it was stunning, meaning that it was incredibly beautiful, amazing, just something you've never seen before. What is Carlsbad Caverns? This is a cave that some people say was discovered in the 1800s. However, it is fairly well known that it was something that the Native Americans knew about and probably explored quite a bit earlier than that. If you haven't seen my video about the Native Americans, you might want to check it out. I'll link it up here. Whenever it was discovered, however we came to know it as we do today, I am very grateful that it is open to the public. And speaking of being open to the public, let's talk about how big and how deep this cave is. So I got a couple of notes here because there's no way I could remember these numbers. But let's talk first about how deep the cave is. So I said, speaking of being open to the public, the part you can go into as a part of the public, as a part of all the people is, or I should say regular people, is about 755 feet deep, which is 230 meters deep. Actually, though, the cave is deeper than that. You just can't go there as a part of the public unless, I guess, you work for them or you're a scientist. You probably have to have some sort of special permission. But it goes as deep as 1,600 feet deep, which is 487 meters. This is incredible. And to get the idea of how big this cave is, it's huge. It has several different rooms, what they call them. We would say they're caves. I guess when I say we would say that, the general public, typically when people talk about a structure like this under the ground, we would say it's a cave. And the biggest cave is called the Big Room. And in the big room, you can fit 6.2 football fields. Now, we're talking American football fields here. If you've never seen an American football field, they are huge. And to have 6.2 of these in one room is incredible. We visited the big room when we went. We also visited some of the other caves. It was incredible. I know I keep saying that word because as I think back to it, it reminds me how incredible it was. And speaking of how big and incredible this cave is, it is not for the faint of heart. And what I mean by that is if you're not someone who likes a little challenge or doing something that's a little difficult, this might not be the thing for you. Although, having said that, I would say it is definitely worth the difficulty and the challenge that it might take to actually walk down into this cave. So the walk into the cave is quite long, but the paths that you follow or the paths that you walk on are very well maintained, meaning that they keep them smooth. They also have hand railings. Railings are things you can hold on to while you're walking so that you can be careful and try not to fall. And it's definitely worth the time and the energy to see this magnificent cave. If you have the chance and you're in New Mexico, I would highly recommend it. And what about souvenirs? This is one of the souvenirs that I got there, a souvenir from Carlsbad Caverns, something you can buy to take with you to remember or to give to friends and family. I don't usually buy very many souvenirs, but I love to get things I can wear. And I've had this for all of this time, which is, I guess, like 16, 17, 18 years, which is kind of amazing because it's still in great shape, meaning it's still exactly like it was when it was new. Another really amazing thing about Carlsbad Caverns is the bats. We didn't personally see what is considered kind of the most amazing thing that the bats do. In the summers, in the evenings, you can see them flying out of the cave in a spiral. This is a spiral. And so you can see these bats flying and spiraling into the sky, which I've seen videos of this, and the videos by themselves are really amazing. I would love to see that in person someday. Visiting the cave is one of the things I'm very grateful that I did with my children when they were small, and one of the few things I would do again, mostly because I am not really into doing the same thing again and again, especially when it's a tourist thing. You can't really hike on your own in this cave. It is something that you purchase a ticket for and you go into the cave. I think we may have had a membership at the time. You can get a membership to the national parks here in the United States. And if you're visiting or if you're here for any amount of time, really, I recommend doing that because we have quite a few really interesting, amazing national parks. And I definitely suggest this one, especially if you've never been to a cave before. There are two other caves that I've been very fortunate to have the opportunity to also be able to go into those. And if you'd like me to tell you the stories about those, let me know in the comments below. I'll make a video about those as well. Sharing stories and learning about the culture of a language is so important to learning that language. And this is a big part of what we do in my She Speaks Fluency program for women. If you are a woman who wants to be fluent and you have an intermediate level or more, I would love to have you join us. For more information and to get on the wait list, click on the link in the description. If you've been listening for a while, you may have guessed that learning about history is one of my favorite things. And I enjoy learning a little bit about science, but it isn't something that I spend a lot of time doing. But what I loved about Carlsbad Caverns is it takes history and science and lots of other interesting things and mixes them all together in a way that is really fun and was such a great journey for us, such a great vacation for us, and a way that we could be learning things at the same time. This, of course, is one of the things I talk a lot about here on the channel, is finding ways to make your English learning journey fun and interesting, because this will help you to learn and to practice in such a way that you enjoy, which of course makes it a little bit easier. Carlsbad Caverns is located in New Mexico, which I've never lived in New Mexico. However, I have visited there a few times, and one of my other favorite places to go in New Mexico is Santa Fe. If you'd like me to tell you a little bit about the city of Santa Fe and some of the things there are to see there, let me know that in the comments as well. If you're ready to learn more English, vocabulary, and even grammar, check out this other story about one of our national parks, and I'll see you there. Bye.